Hi, this is Igor. A lot of people have been sending in questions which I'd like to take some time to answer today. The question that a lot of people have been asking is, what is the money in your mind training really? Is it an internal change process? Or is it an instruction about making and managing your money? The answer is, well, yes it is. It's both, and it's quite a bit more too. In fact, when I did my research and development for this exciting new program, I realized that so many other wealth programs fell short because they did not adequately answer both of these questions. You see, some of the wealth trainers out there focus almost entirely on the mindset, the internal change processes. Now, these are wonderful things, but it's only a part of the story. Others focus mainly on how you make money and what you do with it. In other words, ways of dealing with money in the real world. Once again, this can be very practical and useful information. But there's a problem. Neither of these two approaches describe the way that the really rich people actually operate, how they actually think and handle money themselves. Now, I know this from personal experience, from having met some very wealthy people, as well as from doing some extensive research into the whole field. You should know that I came from a rich family that lost most of its money. I've also worked in international banking as a lawyer and witnessed firsthand how the wealthy think and how they deal with their money. I have personally gone from being dead broke to becoming a multi-millionaire and a partner in a fast-growing international training organization. And in case you're wondering, all of this happened before I ever made an attempt to tell others how to get rich. I made my money in real-world businesses. And I really think it's important that I walked my walk long before I started talking my talk. Now, over the years, I've also helped many people in all kinds of businesses, from small startup enterprises through to Fortune 500 companies. And many of them have gone from just getting by through becoming highly profitable in their own right. From all of this personal experience, as well as from doing a tremendous amount of research on my own, I've concluded that you really can't get rich unless you have two very important factors working in your favor. Number one is your mindset, which I call your inner wealth blueprint. And number two are your actions, which are so simple, but so vastly misunderstood and underused that most people simply don't know what actions to take or how to take them. In The Money in Your Mind, How the Rich Keep Getting Richer and How You Can Too, I have taken all my knowledge and skills to break this down to a proven, simple 11-step system. I've designed the training so you can understand everything as quickly and easily as humanly possible. Once you have experienced this program, which is enjoyable, it's quick, and it's easy to understand, you will have the confidence that becoming wealthy is not rocket science. It's something you can do and something that will work for you. So, without further ado, here are the 11 steps of the Money in Your Mind system. Step number one is unlock your inner wealth blueprint. Some people have said that abundance is our natural state of being. And you know what? They're telling the truth. But telling the truth, I'm sorry to say, is not by itself enough to make things happen. Recently, a writer on the internet wrote about the large group of baby boomers who are headed for financial disaster in their retirement years. And she made a very important comment. Hope is not a plan of action. And whilst she's very right about that, I know for a fact that at the same time, part of your brain is already wired to see the available riches right now under your nose. The problem for most people is that this part of the brain is asleep and you need to wake it up. So step one is waking up your brain so you can see and use your inner wealth blueprint. You'll see how the rich think and how easy it is for you to think in exactly the same way too. You'll also discover an important truth, and this one's very counterintuitive for most people. And that is, how you think can make you wealthy no matter what your income is. I know this may sound a little far-fetched for you right now, but you will see it's absolutely true. Step number 2 of this system is to take this simple step towards wealth that most people tragically miss. Now, if you think that the reason why lottery winners typically lose everything that they've won is simply that they haven't unlocked the inner wealth blueprint, well, you'd only have half the answer there. The second part of that answer is that they fail to take this simple step, one that anyone can do, and which of course we discuss at length in the Money in Your Mind system. Most people don't know what this step is, and not knowing can lead you to misery and bankruptcy no matter how much money you start out with. In fact, if you don't know this step, you can work harder and harder, make more and more money, and still end up being poorer and poorer. Now, I know this because it's exactly what happened to me. But here's the good news. When you know this step, you can have everything that you want. You can have it legally, and you can have it without borrowing a single penny. And you'll still have money to spare at the end of it all. Step number 3 of this system is to unleash your true abundance mindset. And by the way, this is not necessarily what you may have heard about in terms of the law of attraction. Now I have some news for you that may cause you a little bit of distress, but you really need to hear this. The old saying, the more you give, the more you get, is in fact a double-edged sword. On the one hand, you can interpret it the way that most people do, and it becomes a path to the poorhouse. But if you interpret it a slightly different way, and act on that interpretation in the way that I'll share with you, the way that the truly rich people understand it, then you're on the path to virtually unending riches. Along the way, you'll learn how to get rid of your inner poverty guards that keep you in a form of money prison, and you'll enjoy the freedom that real wealth can give you. So let's move on to step number 4. This one's important. Make just one shift and totally change your financial picture. This shift probably represents just about the biggest difference between being rich and being poor. Maybe 1 in 100 people truly understands this difference, and that person, I can tell you right now, is already rich. And it's really simple to understand, at least the way that I explain it to you. And by the way, Hollywood, Madison Avenue, the media in general, and most of the other so-called dream merchants in our society have kind of ganged up on us to make sure that you never figure this one out on your own. In step 5, it's time to take the monkey off your back that keeps you from having a true abundance of money. Have you ever met a high-income person who is totally stressed about money and not even close to being financially free? I wouldn't be surprised if you have, because in America alone, there are millions of people who fit these descriptions. And when you think about this in the context of the whole world, there are many tens of millions, maybe hundreds of millions more. Now here's the irony. Here's why they'll be stuck in a rut no matter how much money they make. They simply haven't taken this one little step. And until they do, they will never enjoy financial ease and true wealth. But I will show you how to do this, and I'll make it easy for you to take that step. Believe me, as soon as you find out what it is and how easy it is to do, you will want to do it. I guarantee you that. It's irresistible, and it's personally very rewarding. And if you want a hint as to what that might be, well, here it is. This step is so powerful that it's been referred to by others as turning on the money printing press inside your brain. Let's move on to step number 6 now. Get your priorities straight and watch even more improvements occur automatically. I'm sure you've heard all the stories where some lucky person seems to have money just come rushing into their life like a genie on a magic carpet. It seems fanciful, outlandish, but it does happen. Now, the funny thing is, those stories are absolutely 100% true. But here's the thing. You don't usually get to know what happened beforehand to make that person ready to receive that kind of money effortlessly. I've gone into considerable detail to show you exactly what that beforehand looks like, so that you can have that beforehand too. Now, that preparation is not hard, but it does require some simple adjustments. I've developed some shortcuts to make it easy for you to make those changes. You see, rich people have certain ways of doing things that they learnt, either through their families or from some closely guarded advice, or sometimes simply by accident. These ways of doing things have almost nothing to do with the amount of money that you have right now. But they do have everything to do with how much money you will have for the rest of your life. And for the first time anywhere, as far as I can tell. I'll be showing you how to effortlessly and automatically bring these ways of doing things into your own life, so that you're getting set up for money to start effortlessly flowing to you the way it happens in the real world. In step number 7, you'll discover the amazing, simple key to growing your wealth. Now, I'd like for you to throw something out the window, and that is everything that you've ever heard that relates to people needing some kind of special advantage in order to get rich. These kind of myths include things like you might need a specialized formal education, Harvard Business School and the like. You might need insider connections. You need some kind of nonsensical, pseudo-mystical thinking. You might need a high income to start with, or in fact, anything else that really doesn't fit into your ordinary everyday life. You see, here's the thing. You don't need any of those things. There is one thing that you must have. But here's the good news. You can get this one thing absolutely 100% for free. Here's how you can tell. There's one very ordinary single woman that I'll be telling you about, who had a low-paying job, no special advantages, who recently donated $4.5 million of her own personal wealth to her community. Now remember, she had no formal education, no connection. She was just a kindly little old lady next door. Now I want you to know that anyone can do what she did, and you'll learn exactly how in this step. Step number 8 is a news flash. Suddenly, you have a stunning amount of extra money left over at the end of each month. By the time you're taking this step, your entire financial picture will have changed. Unfortunately, most people, including many high-income people, never end up taking this one step. Do you remember how many people, including multi-millionaires, lost everything because of the convicted scam artist Bernie Madoff? If they had followed this one simple rule, and I didn't make it up, one of the world's richest men religiously follows this rule, they never would have lost their fortune. In fact, they probably wouldn't have lost a penny. Now that you have all the pieces in place for financial freedom, your path to lifelong wealth can begin without worry. That's what's covered in step 9, which allows you to cash in on the real secret of making money while you sleep. Here's one amazing thing about wealth. Often, the bigger the money gets, the simpler the solution to more wealth becomes. The secret of steadily increasing passive income is so simple that young children can understand it in a flash. And why don't most people practice it then? Once you see this simple demonstration in the training as to how this stuff works, you'll know why others don't do it and how you can make an easy adjustment to make it work in your life. And your financial life will instantly be changed forever. In step 10, you'll take out a wealth insurance, the key to automatic lifelong prosperity. This step is an interesting combination of seeing things just a little differently and knowing what to do with ever increasing streams of passive income.